Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Nicole couldn't help but raise her eyebrows and glance at Harvey. Can this guy stop adding fuel to the fire? Before Nicole could say anything to him, however, Jared spoke first. There is no need for that. Nicole doesn't like drinking soup. As he spoke, he grabbed the pot of coffee brought over by another server. Here are the coffee beans. I just handed some to the restaurant for our coffee. You can try some of it. Unbeknownst to all of them, Jared had brought her favorite coffee beans, causing Nicole's eyes to light up. In spite of the fact that she was a little unhappy, the thought of his intentions and actions made her bow her head and say, "Thank you." Harvey, seeing that Nicole was still holding Jared's cup of coffee, froze. This Jared is really crafty. He even brought coffee beans to the restaurant. It was at this moment that Nicole took a sip of the coffee. The taste was mellow, and was not as flavorful as the homebrewed coffee that Jared had always made her. Jared, who seemed to have read her thoughts, smiled adoringly. "It seems that I have pampered you. I'll brew some coffee for you when we get back." As soon as these words left his mouth, Nicole's face flushed. Why is he being so cheesy? "Let's head home and talk about it," she responded calmly. Jared, upon registering her coyness, did not continue to tease her, but whenever the two of them spoke to each other, it seemed like they were flirting. As they did so, Harvey was left aside, feeling totally embarrassed. He looked crestfallen and did not wish to speak to anyone anymore. Kelly noticed that Harvey had lowered his head in frustration while having his meal, and could not help but feel that the situation was a little distressing to him. "If I had known that it would make Harvey so uncomfortable, I would not have agreed to bring Nicole with us for dinner." With their plates close to being emptied, Jared proceeded to ask her about business. "Are you going to Ike's R&D lab later?" Nicole nodded her head. She had decided to forego the ill feeling she had as she chatted with him about business. "Ike took me to the technology exhibition this morning, and I saw someone developing a chip for the manned flying car." Jared knew that Nicole had made progress, but his eyes began to narrow. He had his complete attention on the fact that Ike had brought her to the exhibition. His eyes darted over to Ike, who felt a tinge of guilt at once. Even if he had something to say, he did not wish to risk a confrontation with Jared. "I got the news 2 days ago, so I brought Nicole there to have a look," Ike said, pretending as if he had no intention on hitting on her. In response, Jared issued a cold snort and said, "Really? Those who do not know you well enough would have thought that you were intentionally asking Nicole out to see the exhibition." As soon as those words exited his mouth, Jared's eyes turned dark. Ike immediately looked at Harvey with a frown and said, "Mr. Ellison here thinks I have plans for Miss Riddle? Wouldn't it be more obvious that you were the one who does, as you were the one who invited Miss Riddle for lunch? Don't blame me, as you were the one who exposed me." Jared's expression became even more brooding as he watched the other two men bickering with one another. These men around her are chumps. Nicole quickly became overwhelmed with the cacophonous scene between the three men. She stood up abruptly and said, "I'm done eating. I've got something to do in the afternoon, so I'll leave first." "Miss Riddle, wait up." Ike noticed Nicole leaving and immediately followed. Nicole was going to his R&D lab, so he did not wish to pass on the opportunity. Naturally, Harvey stood up and was about to follow them when Jared held him back and said, "My girlfriend has something to do, so we'll be leaving. This meal is on me." Jared made it clear to Harvey that he was not following them. Harvey was still intent on coming along, but Kelly stopped him. She could not bear to see Harvey getting hurt again, so she could only pull him aside and shook her head as she said, "Mr. Ellison, Mr. Johnston is already here. Don't go chasing after them." These words seemed to remind him that it was time for him to wake up. He had no chance of being alone with Nicole anymore. In the past, Harvey used to rely on Jared's absence to do so, and those were the times when he could feel as if he was Nicole's guardian angel of sorts. He was not expecting Jared to be here today, but now that the unanticipated had occurred, his dream of being with Nicole completely disintegrated. Harvey's footsteps grew louder and heavier as he watched Nicole saunter off. He did not know how to keep up. He could only clench his fists, gritting his teeth as he glared at the back of Jared. One day, I'll surpass Jared Johnston and have Nicole for myself. After the three of them had left the establishment, Jared pulled Nicole into his car, which was parked by the entrance. With his eyes downcast, Ike could only watch as he got into his own vehicle to lead the way for the both of them. Silence filled the car as Nicole kept mum, and upon noticing that Nicole was sulking again, Jared issued a loud sigh. "Are you still concerned about the incident at the racecourse?" Nicole's eyes rolled, and without turning to look at him, she said, "No, I'm thinking about the chip right now." Jared breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that she was not hung up about the incident anymore. Then, he reached out to hold her hand. "That's good." Upon feeling his touch again, Nicole's heart skipped a beat. She wanted to pull away, but he was holding onto it so tightly and was refusing to let go. "What are you doing?" Nicole asked as she looked at him with a blush. As Jared's dark-colored eyes kept her locked in place, he said, "Do you know how much I miss you these days?" She hasn't been calling me much these days, he thought. I assumed that she was too busy, so I sent her a message, and as she couldn't reply to it either, all I could do was wait. However, in the end, I just couldn't wait any longer. I had to find a reason to meet her. Nicole gave him a blank stare. "Aside from me, aren't there other people around you?" He knew that she was still mad at Fiorella, and so, he reached out and bopped the bridge of her nose. "There is no one else. In my heart, there's only one, and that's you." Nicole found herself looking away. She was afraid that she would fall into his trap, and so, she pulled her hand away. "Okay, stop being so cheesy." Noticing that she did not seem to be angry anymore, Jared raised his eyebrows and said, "I want to know. How about you? Am I the only one in your heart?" Nicole's face flushed as she thought to herself, "Why is he so annoying today? Is he jealous of Harvey?" Then, she turned to him at once and said, "I have nothing going on with Harvey. Don't think much into it." Jared felt a sense of relief the moment she had made their relationship clear to one another, but then, he soon proceeded to ask, "What about Ike?" Nicole froze, and frowned at Jared. "What kind of crap are you talking about? Ike and I are just business partners." "Really?" Jared asked, unable to believe it. Nicole gave him a blank stare. "You can think as you wish, but don't mention anything weird. I need Ike's help while I'm abroad for the time being." He noticed that Nicole did not seem to be having any problems, and this gave him a sense of relief. "If you need to use the R&D lab, I can help you with the preparations right away." Nicole sighed. "That won't be necessary. I won't be using it for a long time. I may already be on my way home after this." Knowing how competent she was, he stopped querying her, and agreed to accompany her to Ike's R&D lab. Noticing the stern look on his face, Nicole raised her brow and asked, "Jared, did you really get the news from here?" In response, Jared nodded. "I didn't lie to you. I don't really need to come here to do the work, but then, you're here." A sense of warmth filled her heart up upon hearing the second half of his sentence as he had said it with such sincerity. "All right, I get it. Well, you should go and check on your things. I might be here in the R&D lab for the whole afternoon." She did not want to take up too much of his time. Jared felt reluctant but agreed to her statement anyway, as he noticed that Nicole wanted to concentrate on her work. "I've booked a hotel for you. I'll pick you up once you're done." Not expecting Jared to be so accommodating and well-prepared, every ill feeling that she had ever had for him vanished, and she nodded frivolously. "Okay." Jared then patted her head and gave her a doting look. Nicole was at loss as to what to do and allowed him to touch it before he withdrew his hand. She could not feel the urge to resist when he did. Soon after, their car pulled up at Ike's R&D lab, marking Jared's first time there. He was not expecting it to be a factory in the suburbs, and upon seeing such a crude design, Jared could not help but ask, "This is his R&D lab?" Nicole nodded. "Well, it looks simple on the outside, but don't let that fool you. The interior houses everything we need. This is Miss Riddle's treat for everyone. Please, be sure to cooperate with her for the next few days." Everyone nodded immediately. "Yes, sir, and thank you, Miss Riddle." Nicole nodded back in response, and proceeded to head into Ike's office. After turning his computer on, Nicole began to write the codes, drawing from her memory of what she had seen, as well as her own ideas. Ike watched Nicole as her fingers darted across the keyboard, surprised and amazed at how good her memory was. As he could only remember fragments of it as she continued typing away, he thought, she had memorized all the codes. The composition of the written code is almost the same as what I had seen at the Science and Technology. Ike watched Nicole as her fingers darted across the keyboard, surprised and amazed at how good her memory was. As he could only remember fragments of it as she continued typing away, he thought, she had memorized all the codes. The composition of the written code is almost the same as what I had seen at the Science and Technology exhibition. This line of code is like a key to a whole new world. The more Nicole typed, the more surprised and excited he became. If you can develop something that matches what we had seen, feel free to use it on my manned flying car. It will definitely be an invention that nobody could rival. Nicole gave him a blank stare in response. I'm just getting started. You may leave. Don't bother me when I'm working. Ike could only suppress his excitement, and left the office the moment he realized how serious she was. T was hoping Nicole could finish writing the code for that chip sooner. Without knowing it herself, Nicole had been working until the dead of night, and she came to her senses after all of the R&D personnel outside the office had left. It was only after Ike came walking in with dinner that she was able to snap out of it. Let's eat something first. The chip can't be completed in a day, Ike said, making her realize that she was really hungry. Oh good, she said, and was about to rise to her feet when she found that they had been rendered numb after so many hours on the chair. She staggered a little, and that was when Ike rushed over to keep her supported. Are you okay? Nicole shook her head and was about to speak when another voice came streaming in from the door. What are you doing? Ike looked toward the door of the office where the tall and straight figure of Jared Johnston stood. Jared did not expect that he would come across a scenario like this just as he had walked past the door. He quickly strode in to help her up, and that was when he shot Lake a glance. Mr. Johnston, don't get me wrong. Miss Riddle staggered and was about to fall, Ike quickly explained, fearing that Jared would overthink. Are you okay? Jared asked Nicole with concern. She sat back down with Jared's help, and after a while she said, It's okay. I have just been sitting down for way too long. I wasn't paying attention when I got up just now, and I almost fell. I was very fortunate that Ike was there. Jared's frown lifted the moment he heard Nicole's explanation. No job is as important as the fact that you must take good care of your health. Do you understand? As it was, those words were not just meant for Nicole, they were also a reminder to Ike that he ought to back off. Ike stood there quietly and watched them as they spoke, fearing that the wrong sentence would cause another misunderstanding again. Let's stop here today. I'll take you back to catch some rest, Jared said as he looked at her. All right, wait a minute. I'll have to save the data. Nicole saw that Jared would not allow her to continue working into the night, so she had no choice but to compromise. After she was done backing her work up in a save file, Nicole looked at Ike and said, I'll stop here for today. I'll be back here first thing in tomorrow morning. Okay. Ike looked at her and nodded. Let's go. Nicole got up slowly while Jared helped her out of Ike's office. Are you okay? Jared asked, concerned. Yes. Nicole looked at Jared and flashed him a smile. Max, seeing that Jared was helping Nicole out, quickly opened the car door for them. Jared ushered her into the back seat, after which he entered the car himself. To the hotel. Jared looked at Max and ordered. Yes, sir, Max replied, and drove them to the nearest hotel. Soon after, they arrived. Mr. Johnston, we're here. Nicole looked outside and eyed Jared with her brows furrowed. Isn't this the hotel I've been staying in? I've booked you another room in another wing. It's closer and more convenient for you, and it'll save a lot of time, Jared looked at Nicole as he explained. Thank you. Nicole looked at Jared with nothing but warmth in her eyes. That's very thoughtful of you. Let's head inside. Jared got out of the car and was able to help her up, but she refused. It's okay, she said. I'm fine now. It was not that big a deal, she thought. What happened earlier at the office was just leg numbness. It had recovered on the way to the hotel, and to let him continue holding me up isn't what I'd allow. Try walking around. Jared kept his hands in a supporting position, afraid that Nicole would fall again. The instant he saw that she was fine, he felt relieved. Then, he took her hand and walked her toward the hotel's entrance. Now in the room, Nicole sat down to catch some rest while Jared poured her a cup of water. Then, he walked up to her side with a look of seriousness and said, "Though what you did was very important, it must not happen again. Your health is way more important than anything else you've got going on." "I know. The reason why I sat a little longer today is because I was afraid that I'd forget and no longer able to recall the details of the code I had seen." Nicole explained, "Know that Jared was just worried about her. Well, if you need any help with your research and development, you can let me know." Jared looked at her, unsmiling. "Thank you in advance, Jared. I will definitely ask if I need to." Nicole stared at Jared with a smile, feeling at ease with him by her side. "How do you feel now? Are you comfortable?" Jared asked her in a gentle tone. "I'm really fine," she replied. "You don't have to worry too much." "You've worked very hard today," he said. "Let me help you relax." "There is no need for that." Nicole's blushed as Jared's hands were already on her legs. As he massaged her, he would ask from time to time, "Is it here?" "No." "Then it must be here." "Let me help you relax," he said as he continued massaging her. The next day, Jared woke up and turned to look at Nicole, who was still sleeping beside him. With his sight on the face that many would find hard to look away from, he raised his hand and caressed her cheek, which was tender and delicate, and as he did, he found it hard to stop. Nicole, who was still asleep, felt a pair of warm hands touching her, and a smile appeared on the corner of her lips. Nicole woke up after a while. She slowly opened her crusted eyes to a hazy view of her room. The moment she did, she caught sight of his handsome visage and a pair of deep brown eyes. Seeing that, she flashed him a soft smile. "You're awake," Jared softly said as they locked eyes. "Yeah," Nicole responded in kind. "Have you been awake for a long time?" Nicole reached out and touched him in the cheek. "No. I woke up just moments ago." With the delicate and clean smile on his handsome face, Jared took Nicole into his arms again. "I really wish I can hold you like this forever." Nicole looked up at him and smiled. "Okay, but don't you have to work?" "Holding you like this won't affect any of my work," Jared said in a confident tone of voice, as if he could really do both things at the same time. "Okay." Nicole leaned in and placed her head on his chest. After some time, Nicole got up from the warmth of his chest and looked at him. "What are we having today?" Jared looked at her dotingly and said, "Well, what do you want to eat?" "Oat milk." Nicole looked at him and took the words right out of his mouth. "All right, I'll ask someone to bring it over." Jared got up, picked up the phone, and dialed a number. Then he made his way back to the bed and looked at Nicole. "Get up and go get ready. I think the food will be delivered soon." "Okay." Nicole stretched and got up from the bed to wash up while Jared accompanied her to the bathroom. Love filled their eyes as they both stood and stared at each other in front of the mirror. Hearing the ringing of the doorbell, Jared finished rinsing himself and walked over to open the door. "Mr. Johnston, this is the meal you've requested for," the server said. "Okay." Jared took the tray and made a beeline for the dining room. After a while, Nicole came sauntering out of the bathroom and into the dining room. The corners of her mouth raised when she saw that her food had arrived. "Let's have our breakfast." Jared handed her a spoon. "So, are you going to Ike's R&D lab after breakfast?" "Yes, and what are you going to be doing today?" Nicole looked at Jared and asked. "I'm going to investigate Henry today and the clues he had left behind." "Are there any leads yet?" "A man of his age will leave traces no matter where he goes." Nicole looked at Jared in bewilderment. "If he is using his real identity, it'll be very easy to find him," he said. "However, I'm afraid that he's not using his real identity, and to search for him then will be like finding needles in a haystack. Anyway, have a toast." Jared handed a piece of toast to Nicole. "If you need help, I can make an arrangement for you." Nicole looked at him, unsmiling. "No, not for now," he replied. "I'll ask you when it's necessary." "All right, just let me know when you're ready. Anyway, I'm done eating. I'll go get change." "Thank you for the breakfast," Nicole said, and took the initiative to plant a kiss on Jared's face before heading to the bedroom to change. With a smile on his face, he got up and followed her to the bedroom, where he hugged her from behind, breathing in the fragrance of her hair, which left him feeling as though he was intoxicated. "I'm going to find you after I'm done." "Okay." Nicole turned around and kissed him in the lip, whereupon the pair broke into a session of passionate smooching. After a while, Nicole pushed Jared away and looked at him with a smirk. "I should go." "I'll send you there." Jared then put his clothes on and ushered Nicole out of the hotel. Opening the car door, he said, "Watch your head." "Thanks." The pair entered the back seat, after which Max drove them to Ike's workplace. "You have to get up and stretch after working for a while. You can't sit there all day, or it'll be like yesterday again," Jared instructed. Nicole turned around, looked at Jared, and nodded, "Yes, I'll remember that." A smile of satisfaction played on Jared's lips, and soon after, the car pulled up outside of Ike's factory building. There, Jared gave Nicole a kiss. "I won't walk you in." "Okay. Be careful, okay? This place is not very safe," Nicole reminded him with concern. "Don't you worry." Jared looked at her and smiled. Jared allowed Max to drive away once he had seen Nicole entering Ike's factory. "Ike." Nicole walked in and called out to him. "I'm here." Ike's voice came booming in from one of the directions. Nicole followed the sound and walked over and saw that Ike was working on something beside a prototype of a manned flying car. "What are you doing here?" Nicole walked over and asked. "I'm dismantling and upgrading it." "Ike, the reference value of this first-generation prototype is limited," she said as she looked him in the eyes. "Don't waste your time on it. You saw it at the Science and Technology exhibition yesterday. The renditions produced by our opponents are very different from what we have right here. We should go back to research and development immediately to see where the design department is going with this. We can also give them some fresh suggestions." Ike's eyes widened upon hearing those words. "What you've said is right. Let's go to the base immediately." "Wait. I'm going to back yesterday's data up from your computer," she said. "I had left in a hurry last night, and I didn't get to extract it." "Okay, let's go." Ike led Nicole to the office. "There's one more thing I wish to tell you." Nicole suddenly stopped. "What's the matter?" Ike looked at Nicole with his brows furrowed. "The people here can create accessories and other products for the manned flying cars, and they'll still have a certain share in the market by then. Don't waste too much time on the production of the complete cars. It won't be easy to compete with the major companies," Nicole said. The words were purely well-meant advice. "I'll think about it. Let's go to the R&D base first," Ike said while looking at Nicole. "Yeah." Nicole quickly extracted and unzipped the files on the computer before turning it off. "Let's go." Nicole looked at Ike. "Okay." Being the gentleman Ike was, he opened the car door for Nicole, after which he got onto the driver's seat and floored the accelerator, speeding off to the R&D facility. "Nicole, you must have been really tired last night, right?" Ike chatted about that which had happened the night before. "It's all right to be tired, but I've been on my rear for a long time, which was something you thought was funny." Nicole smiled as she felt a little embarrassed. "No, I think you tend to forget about yourself and everything around you when you're working. Otherwise, you wouldn't be like that." Ike glanced at Nicole. Gosh, her skin is so fair, he thought. I have no choice. That's the nature of my work. Sometimes, I even feel as if I am not taking much care of my body. I'm glad I exercise all year around and am in great health, otherwise, I would not be able to take it, Nicole joked. Do you work out often too? Ike heard Nicole talking about exercise and happened to strike up a new topic and interest between them. Yes, I work out almost every day, she replied. Judging by what you just said, I guess you exercise regularly too. That's right, but not necessarily every day. Sometimes I give myself a day off if I don't have the time, Ike said humorously. It's true that sometimes, there is no way you can do it if you don't have the time, but when you do, you'll be able to get into a routine, and that'll be good for the body. I'll take you to the gym when I have the time. To have a look around, of course. Ike said, extending an invitation to Nicole. Sure. I haven't exercised much for these past few days. I'll give it a try. Nicole could not let this opportunity pass. If it was Harvey who had invited her, she might have to think hard about it, but as it was Ike, it did not occur to her that she would have to think about it at all. Then it's a deal. I'll pick you up another day when I have the time and we'll go to the gym for a workout session together. Ike said, wishing to settle this matter as soon as possible, so that Nicole would not think of changing her mind. Sure, no problem, Nicole readily agreed. The car came to a halt at the parking lot of the facility, with Nicole and Ike getting down and walking off to the lab thereafter. Ms. Riddle, Mr. Ike. The lab guard greeted Nicole and Ike politely as soon as he saw them approaching the entrance. Is everything fine here? Nicole asked. Yeah, everything is fine as usual, the guard replied. All right, thank you for your work, Nicole said, after which she and Ike headed inside. Are we going straight to the design department? Ike asked as he was walking beside Nicole. Yeah, we've just talked about this, didn't we? Nicole replied to him sternly. Upon arriving at the entrance of the design department, they swiped their cards, pushed the door open, and walked in. The chief designer, upon noticing that Nicole and Ike had entered the room, walked over to greet them. Ms. Riddle, Mr. Ike. How is the current design going for the team? Asked Nicole. It's going well. I see. May I have a look? Nicole asked the chief designer. Sure. Over here, please. The chief designer extended his hand as a gesture of invitation, whereupon Nicole and Ike entered the meeting room. Once they were both inside, the chief designer activated the plasma screen on the wall. Miss Riddle and Mr. Ike, please have a seat. I'll need a moment to search for the data and show it to the both of you. No worries. Nicole and Ike took their seats and waited. After a brief moment, a rough sketch of the manned flying car appeared on the screen. Nicole and Ike's eyes met for an instant. Then, they stared at the screen with frowns on their faces. Noticing their expressions, the chief designer suddenly felt nervous. We weren't informed that Miss Riddle would be coming in for an inspection today. Why are they making it seem like there is one? Nicole maintained her stare for a while longer and turned to Ike. Do you have any comments? Ike looked at Nicole and thought for a moment before making his remarks. Our design seems quite plain. If we were to compete in the industry based on appearance, I'm afraid we'll be behind. The chief designer looked at Ike confusedly. Mr. Ike, I didn't quite get what you were saying. Are there other companies researching on manned flying cars as well? That's right. Ms. Riddle and I were at a tech exhibition yesterday. We saw a conceptual design from a rival company there. Although it's just a conceptual design, we could see that their vision for this flying vehicle is very advanced. Ike explained to the chief designer. What? There are other companies working on manned flying cars? The chief designer asked, extremely shocked upon hearing the news, as he had no idea prior to being informed of this. Don't be surprised, Ike said. Even if they are just researching on it, I'm quite sure they're at the same phase as US. Perhaps, they might be a little, but not far behind US in terms of progress. If we can come up with a design that's a lot more attractive and practical, I think we'll be able to secure 50% of the market. Nicole looked at them firmly. Without realizing it, her faith in this project had given the chief designer and Ike the confidence boost they needed. Now, let's discuss about how we should improve and modify our current design together. Nicole looked at both of them, prompting Ike and the chief designer to respond with nods. Ms. Riddle, which part of the vehicle do you think we could modify? The chief designer turned to Nicole. Nicole looked at the current design and suggested, I think we can make the hood a lot more angular and flashy. When people look at it, they'd find it more pleasant to the eye. Second in the list of priorities is to reduce the windage. We should try our best to minimize air resistance as much as possible, so it would be safer for it to fly. At the same time, it would be able to increase mileage in the air. After she was done speaking, Nicole turned to look at Ike. What do you think? I agree with the both of what you have said. While considering this, we should produce a manned flying car fit for two. That would be a huge selling point too. Ike stated. He's right. This feature could win potential buyers over, provided it is within the same price range. What is your opinion on this? Nicole turned to the chief designer. I think all of your suggestions are great. We will modify according to both of your ideas as soon as possible. All right. We'll leave it to the design team. If you come across any difficulties, we are always here for you. We can solve this together. Nicole eyed the chief designer with a serious look on her face. All right. That's all for now, she said. We're leaving. All the best to you. After Nicole had walked out of the design department with Ike, she turned to him and said, You should head to the R&D department. I'll go back to my office now. Okay, he uttered. Once Nicole had arrived at her office, she turned the computer on and sat down to continue working on the code, but after an hour or so, Jared called her on the phone. Are you working? Did you get enough rest? Jared's caring and gentle tone could be heard on the line. Yeah, I'm working now. It's only been an hour, and I don't feel tired at all. Nicole turned on the loudspeaker on and worked while chatting with him. Even if it has just been an hour, you should move around and stretch for a bit. Now, just put your work aside for a moment, Jared said in a commanding tone of voice. Okay, I will catch a break now, Nicole agreed, though her fingers were still darting across the keyboard. Are you trying to fool me? Jared asked. I can hear you typing away on the keyboard. You have a good sense of hearing. Nicole smiled and got up. I'm standing up and taking a break now. There's no typing sound from the keyboard anymore, right? Reported Nicole. That's good. Move around a bit more. You can chat with me too while taking a break. Jared replied assertively. Why are you so pushy? You want me to chat with you while taking a break? In that case, why would it still be considered a break? I'm hanging up, Nicole balked. I've got no choice. This is the only way for me to know that you're actually taking a break, he said. Jared was just worried about her. He knew that if they ended the call, she would return to her work without resting at all. He knew her all too well. Your little tricks, he said. I'm telling you, it's best for you to not play any of them with me. Fine, you've caught me red-handed. You win. Oh yeah. By the way, weren't you looking into Henry's leads? How do you still have the time to call me? Nicole suddenly remembered and asked. Max is looking into it. I'm in the car with nothing to do, and I suddenly thought about you. Jared glanced out of the window. Max had been away for a long time and he had not returned yet. I see. Then you shouldn't be sitting in the car waiting. You should go and check things out, Nicole advised. Why should I be out and about? Are you trying to suggest that, so that no one would be watching over you? Jared asked, knowing that it was another one of Nicole's tricks again. When did you become this annoying? She replied. Didn't I tell you that I'm done with my break? I need to get back to work already. Okay then. Jared looked at his watch. Without realizing it, they had been talking on the phone for 20 minutes. After hanging up, Jared looked at the entrance of the airport. After a short while, Max could be seen walking out of the doorway. Then he entered the car and turned to Jared. Sir, this airport does not have any records of Henry boarding a flight. Let's go to the next airport. Okay. Back in the office, Nicole had sat down in front of her computer once again and had continued working. After typing for a while longer, she stopped and copied a document into her USB drive. Then, she shut the computer down and made her way to the R&D department where Ike was. She swiped her access card and walked into a room full of people who were busy researching of the chips. Upon finding Ike, she walked over and said, I've created a design for the first generation of chips. You can have a look with your team. That's quick. Ike looked at Nicole in shock. It's a simplified version. If it looks fine in every aspect, but I'll go into the details, Nicole explained. Okay, let's have a look, he said. Ike then proceeded to call a few chip experts over. Miss Riddle has designed a simplified version of the chip. Let's see if we could work on it. Now in the office, Nicole and the team began discussing the feasibility of this simplified chip, and after 2 hours they concluded that the design was excellent. All of them looked forward to the final complete version from Nicole. As everyone thinks that this design is usable, I'll continue working on it, Nicole said, and was about to leave when one of the men stopped her. Ms. Riddle, I'd suggest for you to design it up to a certain phase and bring it over for us to experiment it again. This is to check if there are any alterations needed during the process. Yeah, I thought so too, she replied and made her way back to her office where she continued working on the chip again. Outside of the other airport, Jared watched as Max walked back into the car. Are there any leads? Jared popped the question before Max could even begin reporting. Yes. There was a record of Henry's wife boarding a flight here, Max replied. Jared frowned and asked, did she board the flight alone or with someone else? Alone. Quickly send someone over to keep watch at her arrival hall, Jared ordered. Understood, Max uttered. Henry is as sly as a fox, Jared thought. They must have left separately and planned to rendezvous at some other location. I'll make sure I get that rat from his hole. Let's head back to the hotel now, Jared said. Hearing that, Max started the engine and made his way toward the hotel. On the way there, Jared called Nicole on the phone again. Hey, are you at Ike's factory? No, I'm at the lab. Why are you calling me again? Nicole asked, working as she answered Jared's call. I'm done with work here, he replied. I thought of visiting you, but it's fine since you're at the lab. I'll head back to the hotel first and pick you up later. Jared felt a little sad, as she was at the lab, where he had no access. If she was at the factory, he would have been able to keep her company. Okay, you should head back and get some rest first. I'll be back as soon as I'm done with work here. Bye now. Nicole immediately hung up after she had uttered the last word. Meanwhile, Harvey was in the hotel, feeling extremely bored. Ever since Jared had taken Nicole away, Harvey had never seen her again. Not able to withstand it anymore, he went up to Kelly's room and knocked on the door. Kelly. Mr. Harvey, how may I help you? Kelly stared at Harvey at the door and asked. What are you doing? Harvey asked, pretending to care about her as it would be awkward for him to ask Kelly about Nicole. Nothing. Do you want to come in? Kelly asked as she felt that it was impolite of her to speak to him at the door. Sure. Harvey entered and sat down. Kelly, how long did Nicole say we'd be here for? About a week or so. Is something wrong? Kelly looked at Harvey with her brows raised.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.